For this demo, I'm going to show you how I build an enterprise desktop application. The technologies that will be used will be SQL Server for the back end, Entity Framework, which will interface with SQL Server. That will be wrapped in a repository project. The rest of the application is going to be MVVM with WPF as the user interface. First of all, what I like to do is to model the domain of the application that I'm building. So I've already built a model. So this model is built in Visio, and as you can see, it's a model for a small retail outlet. You can look at this in your own time. One of the tables is TBL_message with a primary key of message_ID. Quite different from the rest of the tables. This is to illustrate that this could be an existing database. I'll show you how I handle that within the application. So I'll close this diagram and minimize Visio. To build the application, I use a highly advanced code generator that I've been developing for the last 10 years or so. It takes the diagram, so just drag and drop the diagram, and also a template. This template is for WPF enterprise applications, as you can see by the name. And then we generate the code. So this has generated the application. Here's the application here. So I will open up that, go into the solution, and open up the application in Visual Studio. First of all, I need to restore the packages from NuGet. I'm not going to put the packages into the template because it makes the template far too large. So that's restored. Let's have a look at the anatomy of the application. So we have our repository project. We have a models project, so the models project interacts with the repository. This contains the various entities which you saw in the diagram. Here's our message entity. I'll open that up. And as you can see, it's not TBL_message, but message, and the ID is ID, not message_ID. So within Entity Framework in the repository, we have configuration files. So here's the message configuration file. And the first thing you'll see is it maps the message model to TBL message and also maps the primary key ID to message_ID. And here's the remainder of the mapping. So I'll just minimize that and close that. The view model only knows about the model, and the view model prepares the model for the views. The views only know about the view model. For a small application, I'd expect to put most of the business logic into the view model and not touch the model or the repository. Larger applications, you may want to have a separate assembly for your business logic and so on and so forth. The user interface, most of this part of the application for the final delivered application will change quite significantly. But as a kind of courtesy, what I've done is I've added various components. So for each model, I've added a summary, a list, a toolbar which does CRUD activities, creates, deletes, and so on and so forth. Details, which contains all the detailed fields, and a container. Before I run the application, I need to do a database migration. So save me typing stuff out, just copy and paste. So I'm creating a migration, and this is not going to work. The reason why it's not working is because by default, the package manager goes to the startup project, which is the sample.views. But the database connection is in the repository. Remember, the rest of the application doesn't know how to store data to the database. Only the repository knows how to read and write, store data to the database. So we set the default project to sample repositories and repeat that process. And fingers crossed, this time, it will work. It takes a little bit of time. And there you go, we have success. So the next thing we need to do is update the database. And there are all the migrations. The code generator could actually create all of this. Updating the database. And there we have it. So the database has been updated. Just go to Management Studio and then refresh. And there's our database. And as we're tracking the message entity, the message table in this case, there you go, it's TBL message. Let's minimize that and we'll run the application. It's gone on to another part of my display. So I'll just move it over to, there you go, to the stage. And as a courtesy, what I've done also, just get that over, is I've also added a command prompt so we can get some feedback. Obviously the published application won't contain that. So we can do things like add a new brand. There's a new brand and we can save it, and there's the brand saved. Everything is done asynchronously using background workers. So let's close this application. Many businesses also want to do soft delete. So soft delete basically means that you add onto each entity an is deleted field. You set the flag of this deleted field to 0 by default, as in it's not deleted, or 1, which means it's been deleted. This sounds quite straightforward in principle, but what if you have a unique key constraint? And I'll show you examples of that. So let's go back a level, open up our diagram again. So within this brand table, you can see unique key. So if person A creates an item on the brand table, and then person B deletes that item, and then person A sees that that item has been deleted. On the database, it has not been deleted. Simply the flag has been set to 1. So the first person says, oh, that thing has been deleted, so I'll re-add that item back in. What will happen is, because of unique constraints, the database will say, sorry, you can't add that item. So what we need to do is we need to undelete anything which has a unique constraint and update any additional fields, if there are indeed additional fields. This doesn't have additional fields apart from the primary key. We also have additional issues to do with cascading delete. Most of these relationships are not cascading, but here's an example of a cascading delete. So if you delete an item, then the selected item will be deleted. So this field, the field is deleted on here, will be set to 1. This is also set to 1 as well. But in this instance, if there is a product record, we don't want brand to be deleted. So we need to handle that as well. To achieve this, we need to add some stored procedures. One stored procedure would be for saving something, as in setting that field from is deleted to not is deleted. And also we want to have a deleted stored procedure as well, but also an additional stored procedure which can be iteratively called to work your way down these relationships. If something cannot be deleted, if something cannot be deleted, then a message needs to be then sent up the chain of stored procedures and then finally to the user interface to give an understandable message to the user to say, sorry, this item cannot be deleted because of, a certain relationship. Now, this is quite a lot of work to handcraft this, but when you have a code generator, it becomes quite trivial. I tick on this, enable soft delete, and then regenerate the solution. And as you can see, it's added an additional folder. So as you can see, we have these additional stored procedures. Before we run these stored procedures into the database, we'll go back to our solution, reload on our solution, and we now need to update our migrations. So we'll add a new migration. With and it's failed again. It's because it was code generated, and so hence this has gone back to the default setting. So as I was saying, with migrations, it's a good idea to make small changes to the database and then do a migration. From a code generation point of view, this is a small change, as in just adding these additional fields. Then I shall update the database. So it looks like that's done successfully. Let's just check this. Open one of these tables. And there you go, we have the is deleted. I promise you that wasn't there before. Now we need to deal with the stored procedures. So we have a whole collection of stored procedures here. These can be all imported all at once with an application that I wrote. Let me just open that up. Where is it? There it is. So this is a second application that I wrote to import stored procedures en masse. So I'll just drag and drop that to there and then just run. And there you go. It's imported all the stored procedures. Let's just have a look at programmability. Programmability, stored procedures, and there they all are. It's a whole bunch of stored procedures. And where's message? Right, there's message. Should have known. And then modify. So let's ignore that. That's something to do with SQL Server. And there's this stored procedure for doing a soft delete. And then we have a similar one for actually doing a proper delete. Sorry, my mistake. So this is for doing a save and unsaving something, and this is the stored procedure for doing a soft delete. Our application has automatically been updated to call these stored procedures. So now, of course, the application is on the other screen. I can't help that, unfortunately. Here is our test item underneath brand. Click on delete. It's been deleted. Just close the application and bring up a new query. Oops. Select star from I believe it was inventory dot brand. F5 that, and there you go. There's our new record, and we have is deleted. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. You can also contact me with the details which are on the screen now. My next demonstration in the near future is going to be creating a web version of exactly the same application using C# MVC with a REST API. Thank you for watching.